Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jerred Moon. The Garage Gym Athlete Podcast is a result of my desire to build better humans, unequivocal coaches, and autonomous athletes. I've spent the last several years obsessing over program design, nutrition, and every other way you can optimize human performance. This podcast distills the latest scientific research with what I've learned and blends it with the not-so-scientific field of mental toughness. We are here to build you into a dangerously effective athlete. If you enjoy this podcast, you can find out more about our training at garagegymathlete.com. And if you want to pursue more into the field of coaching and programming, head to endof3fitness.com. Thanks for listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jerred Moon here with Zach Rita. How's it going, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We were just catching up before we started, and I'm already impressed with your space. If anybody's watching on YouTube, you can see we're not dealing with a typical garage gym here. It's quite awesome looking. But I'm going to throw it to you, man. Basic intro: who you are, what you do, how you train, and where you're from.
Okay. Yeah. So again, I'm Zac Rita. 27. Live here in Anderson, South Carolina. Born and raised in South Carolina. I am just recently changed from an industrial engineer to a maintenance sector manager here at Michelin in Anderson, and so I'm going through a couple of job changes right now, but don't live too far from the plant, so I'm able to enjoy this behind me as often as I can. Let's see. In terms of background, sports-wise, I had a little bit of a different sports background than most. I did high school rodeo, so
Awesome.
Team roped and calf roped in high school. So my workout background was a little bit different. I was allowed to work out with the football team during the summertime, and whenever we have PE and stuff during the school year. It was slightly different though, not your typical athlete at least.
Yeah, I mean, some other people may find that weird, but I grew up in Texas, so I'm very familiar with those kind of things. A lot of friends into that stuff. I never did it myself, but I think I've always thought it was really cool. It takes a lot more strength than people realize. A lot of those things, especially like grip strength, and your fitness level has to be on par just to participate. So. So what's your garage gym setup, man? What are we dealing with here? I already kind of called it out a little bit.
Sure.
What do we have?
I'm gonna take you off of my makeshift stand over here and see if I can turn this around. So I'll give you the tour first. So we've got the Dick's, I think that's the Dick's Sporting Goods treadmill, Concept 2 rower. The bench is from Titan Fitness. I made me a little DIY barbell stand or barbell holder. And I've had this for a while, a kettlebell holder with the galvanized pipes and just as many 10 pounds, 5-pound plates I can find. The Yeti cooler is actually it's a gift from my now wife several years ago, and that's my box jump that I've got there.
That's awesome.
Thanks. The rack is the Amazon Fitness rack. I've got some DIY. I just bought a set of rings, but this was kind of the TRX system. Googled how to do it online using ratchet straps. So got a little DIY system there. And then bought this off of a guy in Georgia right as soon as COVID began or quarantines began. He was moving and I got it on a really, really good deal. It was like $250, $300 for that. And then the plates came from a neighbor of mine that was trying to clean out his house, and to be honest with you, he didn't use it a lot. So I traded him some fishing gear and things like that for the weights, and then my 511 vest. So Jerred and I were talking beforehand. This is the little Garage Gym Athlete patch that my dad made for me.
Yeah. So our dad, I'll tell the listeners, our dads share a common hobby or side hustle or whatever you want to call it. They're both retired military, and they both got into like laser engraving. And so, if you know anything about our patches at Endo3 Fitness, my dad makes all of them. So he cuts the leather, he engraves it. but I've never asked him to do the Garage Gym Athlete logo, just partly because I didn't know if it'd be possible, because of how it's a little bit like grunge looking font or whatever. But now that I've seen your patch and how awesome that looks, I'm gonna message him as soon as it's over. Like, Dad, I need some Garage Gym Athlete patches like immediately. So thanks for showing me what that looks like. It's awesome. And for anyone who saw that or is listening, definitely be checking for that in the store sometime soon. I think we're gonna definitely pull the trigger on those. But that's really cool, man. And how big is this space? It looks like you're in a warehouse, to be honest. It's huge.
Yeah, so I sold a bass boat right at the very beginning of COVID. It's a 30, see if I can get where I can see what I'm showing you, a 30 by 50 space. So I've got my gym and I do a lot of woodworking and stuff, and then kind of a storage area over here, having to store my neighbor's lawnmower at the moment. But yeah, I've got plenty of space to work out. Most of this is out of the way. That's my makeshift desk to be able to hold my phone.
I love it.
I normally have this 10 by 10 open, and then these two garage doors open, and I've got about 10 feet of space out that way before it just dirt and grass.
That's awesome, man. Well, really awesome setup. And what was the big reason behind starting a garage gym for you?
Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit of my background with working out. I was working out with my brother-in-law, who we're about 15 minutes away or 10 minutes away from Clemson University. And we both graduated from there, and we were still working out at the Clemson gym. And right when we were doing it, it's the 4:30 in the morning kind of deal. And once COVID hit, they closed the gym down for students only, and then ultimately closed it down for during the peak of COVID. And as I was getting ready to sell the boat, I knew that I wanted to have a shop. And my wife and I were laying in bed one night. She said, "What about a gym, a home gym?" And to be honest with you, it was kind of one of those light bulbs, gave me permission to go have fun with it kind of deal. And so that sparked it from there. Of course, you Google garage gym, and the two things that pop up are garage gym athlete and garage gym reviews from Coop. And so I started watching YouTube videos on both, listening to the podcast, and just kind of, that's how it started from there. We started out with just a couple actually old horse stall mats that still smelled like horse stall and a treadmill. And then I've just slowly over the last year and a half looked for some deals, picked some deals up. Really the last addition was the power rack. And so just little along, and then making it known to friends, kind of what we were looking for. Had a lot of the stuff, some of the stuff was given to me, a couple barbells and things like that. So kind of how it's progressed from there.
That's awesome, man. It's quite the space. And your wife, man, that's I feel like everyone else has to talk their wife into it, and your wife, you're like, I don't know what to do, and she's like, how about you start a gym? No, it's just
yeah.
You got to keep her there for sure.
Oh, I was proud of that. I don't know if she knew what she was saying when she said it, but it was kind of one of those no take backsies kind of thing, and go from there.
Yeah, she probably thought like maybe like a biker or something in the corner, and not like no, I'm gonna deck out this entire space with weights and pulley straps and everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, the cost of everything's going up, so we're gonna do it right in the middle of that too.
That's great, man. Well, so what are some of your goals right now, or anything that you're chasing?
Yeah. So the first goal that I had, thankfully, thanks to you in this program, I was able to do was a Murph. It was a unvested Murph. One was a vested, but it was a kind of a sloppy Murph. So now that I've done that, I want to run a competitive 5K. Competitive.
Awesome.
Yeah. I looked up times, and of course, like the world record's 12 minutes. I don't want anything to do with that. But if I could get sub 22, 23 minute 5K, that's kind of my next goal. I don't like to run to the end of the driveway, so it's one of those. It's going to take a little bit more time for me to kind of build up from there.
That's a good goal. 5K is a solid distance, especially when you're pushing yourself. And it looks like you're wearing the black PR shirt, so you've definitely seen some results, which is awesome. What got you the PR shirt?
Actually, the rower. So I've not done a very good job. I've had several sets of injuries over the last couple of years, so I've not done a lot in terms of how much can I pick up and put down.
Mm-hmm.
Most of this has been cardio related and stuff. So for me, the rower was what came in handy to me the most. And I got that. I think it was the 500 meter time So
Awesome.
I've not. I look forward to trying to do some basic testing again, just to see where I can go. Um, Hopefully, can start adding some more PRs to that, especially in the weights and stuff like that.
For sure. Well, we kind of hit on it. I didn't know if there's anything else that you wanted to cover, what you're doing pre-garage gym athlete. Sounds like you're kind of doing strength and
Yeah,
conditioning at the Clemson gym and your high school background. Was there anything else in your fitness
yeah,
journey
yeah.
there?
Yeah, it was. After I graduated college, first big boy job, I was living in an apartment, and I did went to a local YMCA, and they were doing like a CrossFit esque style workout, called it Beast Mode. It's a really good community. It really got me kind of back inspired. I didn't do a lot of working out in college. I definitely gained the freshman, maybe 10 or 15. Um, and so it kind of got me back into that concept of working out again. And we ended up building our house. So after I decided to build, I said I'm not going to spend money on an apartment payment and a house payment, working through all that. So I went and moved back home with my parents, and that was about an hour and 20-minute ride to work every day. So my I did, for the folks out there that do that and drive that much every day one way or even close to that and still work out. I don't know how they do it. They're animals. Um, so my fitness journey went to crap, for probably 7 or 8 months. And then when we came back, like I said, I started working out with my brother-in-law, and he was in really good shape. He's a swimmer. So I learned a lot about that I can't swim, or I thought I could swim until you try to get in a lap pool and actually swim. So we did a lot of those style workouts. We would still lift. He was trying to gain muscle. He's kind of the type that he'll go to sleep and lose 10 pounds.
Right.
So he was trying to bulk muscle. I look at food and gain weight. So, a little bit of a different body styles trying to work through that. And then COVID came around, and it's kind of where that we picked up from there.
Yeah, that's one thing I'd say most garage gym athletes don't get enough of is swimming,
Mm.
unless you have a swimming pool and actually do that. But I used to just get my butt kicked I had a lot of swimmer friends, and like what you're saying, because I was in shape, like I could run, and things like that. But then it's like I get in the pool with these guys, and it's like I'm a child competing against
Yeah.
adults. It's just like it's a completely different ballgame. Like, how do you guys breathe? Like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
It's a whole new thing if you're not used to it.
One of the most humbling experiences, I think, is, I think I'd gotten 225 on the bench press the day before. And then we get in the pool, and I'm doing a couple laps. I'm panting like a lizard. Just nothing's, I can't keep moving. And there's just like 75 or 80-year-old grandma that's just stroking, doing her thing, passing me in the pool. And it's like, this is not right. This isn't normal.
They know something
It's
we
very
don't.
humbling. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the whole breathing thing underwater really, really puts a damper on things.
Well, overall, how do you like training in your garage, or should I say, warehouse? How do you enjoy it?
I enjoy it, man. It's been really good. The commute to and from work and things like that used to get to me. So now anytime I get in a car, really, and have to drive somewhere to go do something, it takes me off a little bit. So it's been good to be able to just walk out the back door. I'm probably 150 feet away from the house. And then just overall, you can grunt, you can sweat, you can blast whatever music you need to. Unlike you, I actually do need music to keep me going. I think I'm a little concerned about you from previous podcasts. You telling me that, or you telling the group how you can listen to anything. I've got to have the hard rock and things like that going, but it's been really, really good to keep that up.
Yeah, my brother's training with me now, so there's a lot more structured music happening because he's a big music guy. But it was funny. He was late the other day, and I was like, well, I can't wait for you because I have another meeting coming up. So I was like, I'm gonna start. I'll write the workout we're doing on the board, and you can just start whenever you get here. And I'm running intervals on the treadmill in silence, and and he shows up, and he looks at me, and he's like, I'll be right back. And so he goes to his truck, and he grabs his headphones and his earbuds and puts them in. He's like, I don't know what you're doing. I was like, I don't know. I wasn't even thinking about it. I just had to get the workout in before I had to go meet with some people. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a gift and a curse that you have. I don't know which one it is, depending on the day, I guess.
Yeah.
It's wild.
All right, man. Well, let's get into some of these other questions. I'm interested to hear them. What's the hardest workout you've ever done?
So I'll go back to the pool. We swam a mile, and every 200 meters we would jump out and do a series of push-ups and flutter kicks. And I don't have abs; I have to really look hard for them. So between just your arms being out of breath and that, I would say that was probably the worst workout I've done, just because once you get back in the pool, you feel like you are drowning, and there's no recovery time for that, I guess. So I'll blame the pool for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of pool stories. In college, my buddy and I, we thought we'd pick up swimming to increase our aerobic capacity to be able to run faster. And all we did was several months of swimming, and we never got better at it. And then we got worse at running. So,
Yeah.
but just that whole adventure was it's tough stuff. And I know there are a lot of swimmers probably listening to this who just laughing at us, but it's a solid sport.
Hey, kudos to them. That's a tough one.
Yeah. All right. In your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
I know several of people have said this before, but it's taking the little steps, in my opinion. I like to follow the KISS method, the keep it simple, stupid, and so the more simple you can make life and cut the decision making out of it, to me, I think it builds that mental toughness, because it puts you kind of in a rhythm, and you can build that consistency and then start adding things in as you go. For example, my nutrition's not the best in the world, but my wife and I sat down probably February of this year, and said we want to lose some weight. So instead of trying to count macros and things like that through the way that we do it through Garage Gym Athlete, we did Weight Watchers. I had Weight Watchers and Garage Gym Athlete.
Nice.
It was some of the easiest times. I mean, I lost 15 pounds in 5 or 6 months, or 4 or 5 months, just because of I know what I need to eat. I know what I need to do to work out. And then the mental toughness kind of just came from the consistency behind it. It made it to where it's harder not to do it, so to speak.
Yeah, that mental toughness comes baked in after a long enough period of just being consistent. But that's awesome, man. Congrats on the weight loss too.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
If you only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
So I've gone back and forth on this, and I know a lot of people say barbell, but I'll credit the one machine that I could do more than probably just the barbell and the Concept True rower. I told you earlier in the podcast, I think, or it might have been before we started, I hate running. I don't like to run. I hurt after a while, and you can strap into that. You can probably see behind me, I've got a TV, and just go and burn a lot of calories and feel good when you walk away from it. So for me, it'd be the rower.
That's a good pick. All right, man. What? Well, actually, no. I got to ask Joe's question because he's not here. So, if we could grant you any piece of equipment that you don't have, what would it be?
I would like the foam box jumps. So I started to build a DIY, box jump box here. At the Y, I had an ugly incident where I overshot my landing and thought I broke my wrist. It was bad for a couple months, and so I'm a little hesitant about the wooden box jumps anymore. So if I could get the big, fat foam ones that you can stack on top, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
that would be the ones for me.
Those box jumps are dangerous.
Yeah, they're not fun, and of course, the more fatigued you are, the worse it gets.
Right. That's what I've seen. A lot of bloody shins and people trip over boxes and all sorts of stuff. Anyone listening, you got to be safe with those. Pick the right height, but if you can get the foam one like he's talking about, that is an option. It keeps you a little bit safer.
Yeah.
All right, man. What is your best advice for all the garage gym athletes out there listening right now?
I think it goes back to just starting. Don't be afraid to start with whatever you have in your at your home, in your garage. I have the liberty. We're talking to most people that probably do have garage gym athlete already. For a long time, I did the no gear track for a cycle or a cycle and a half, and it's amazing the impact of just picking up and starting from there. Don't be afraid to. It only takes 15 or 20 minutes. If you've only got 15 or 20 minutes, utilize that time wisely. That's what I would preach to other garage gym athletes, but I've tried to invite some other team members and stuff at work, try to jump on the Garage Gym Athlete group. Just take a small step and it'll lead to big changes.
That's awesome, man. Well, Zach, it's been awesome, getting to talk to you a little bit more, learning more about your space and how you're tackling things. So, first off, thanks for being a Garage Gym Athlete and sharing your time with us today, man. I really do appreciate it.
Hey, man. Thank you. And thank you for all you do. This is it's a great group of people. I really enjoy the Facebook group. So hopefully we'll get together with a couple guys in South Carolina and see if we can get a workout in, maybe meet yourself Saturday or something.
I think that will happen sooner rather than later, especially with Trampus being very close to you.
Yeah, we ended up messaging each other the other day when we saw saw that Chris Morgan was in Clemson drinking beers. And he's like, hey, I live close by, so I need to get in contact with him.
Awesome.
So.
Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Thanks for listening.